Right, okay, here the second session of your professional IT subject. The last week we discussed about the history of computers, right? Some milestones we discussed. However, the recorded version of the lecture I published into the web. Wait for a minute. Right, okay, back again. That last week we discussed about the computer history, right? Some milestones we discussed. That this time also we are going to discuss some milestones of the computer history, and also how the technology is affect with the community, and also I expect to discuss some application of technology, right? Here this is the way this time we are going to discuss. However, I want to give some information about your syllabus area. Here we should want to complete some assignments also, right? According to your syllabus. That first I am going to refer your syllabus here. Right. Look at the syllabus. This is a 30-hour session in your whole syllabus. 2 credit one. Then the outline of syllabus, only 5 chapters here. History of computer technology, then how individual lives and society change due information technology, ethical and legal issues. In that way your syllabus is organized. Here the most important part is the assessment grade. Here the assessment is divided into 2 sessions: continuous assessment and end of semester examination. Continuous assessment here again divided into 2 sections. In class activity, that is discussion and tutorial, 15%, and group work 35%. Then year-end examination, structured question paper, you will receive it at the examination, 50% allocate for that. Right. However, 50% of your marks given by me actually whatever you are doing in the class, during the class. Here I am assigning a group activity. Later time I will give what you want to do it. That other 15 marks, classroom activities, right? Here the first thing is your attendance, right? I am considering your attendance to giving this 15% marks, because classroom activities and discussion all are done during the class hours. Therefore, only the students who are attending know what is the discussion and what are the things they are do, what type of activities we did during the class hours. Right. Therefore, these 15 marks will allocate for the discussions, activities, and tutorials, that discussion during the class hours. Right. Sorry for Right. Okay. Back again to the class that we were discussing about the assessment type you want to complete here. I think you get the idea about that. Therefore, the attendance is important, and also it is important whatever the activities we are doing during the class hours. Right. If you are doing activities, then you will get the maximum marks, 15 marks. Right. Right. Okay. Then we'll move to the classroom discussion here. The first thing is I want to discuss today some other milestones that important with computer history. We are doing this classroom with using another platform that last week also we did that platform. Similarly, you want to join to this platform again. Right. Therefore, I am giving the link and the join code. Check your chat box. Right. Now I posted the link. Now you can see it through the chat box. Please click on the link given by me. Once you click on this link, then you will move to separate page. Right. Then they are asking a join code. Right. You want to click the student area. They are asking a join code. Now I am giving this join code here. I type this join code in that field. Right. The join code now you can see in the chat box also. Directly you can copy and paste this one. Right. Okay. Then I think all of you get this join code here. Then we'll see how many of you are joined. Still only one student join with this code here, Himansa. Please try to join with this system. Others also. $14 of students here with me in the Zoom session. 14 of you are here, but only one. Now only 2 students now join. Sohan Dienage also okay. I again posted the link. Right, I will give 1 minute to complete to join the session. Right. 6 of you joined, 7 of you joined with the lesson here. Still have another 7 of students, 6 of students to join. Right. While joining them, then I am going to start the session here. Milestone in computer history, the today's lesson. Some important milestones we discussed last week also. Here we are going to discuss some other important areas, important milestones when discussing about the computer history. Right, look at the slide here. This explains about the first algorithmic programming language. In 1945, it is called Plancker. Plancker, that is invented by the engineer named Konrad Zuse in 1942, and not in the period between 1942 and 1945. Right, this Plancker is considered as the first algorithmic programming language in computing. Here, I think you can see the figure also in left side. Here, explain, giving some idea about how Plancker language is organized. Then the right side figure, that's the person who invented this programming language, Konrad Zuse. Right? Here you want to remember the name of this first programming language and the person who invented it. Right? These are the important points regarding in this slide. Then if you can take some short notes regarding these slides. Later you will be available with this slide on your Edmodo account. Right. Until that, you can, if you want, you can get some short notes regarding these important points. These short notes are very important when you are doing the activities. Based on these slides, then I am going to do some activities. Therefore, you want to remember these things. The first programmatic language is Plancker, invented by Konrad Zuse, the year between 1948 and 45. So then another milestone that is called stored program concept, 1945. This stored program computers is very important. Even today, our computers, desktop computers, using this concept. Right? This invented by the person called John von Neumann, also known as, therefore, this as one-man architecture. One-man architecture. He was the first man said instructions and data should be in the same memory. Before inventing this concept, how computer programs run is instructions separate. They are using a separate memory to instructions and a separate memory for data. But this man said instructions and data should be in the same memory. Right? That's the main point we can get from this concept. Look at the diagram here. In this diagram, you can see left side the CPU and the memory. In memory contain both instructions and data. Right. Here the point you want to remember, instructions and data stored in the same memory. That's the concept he point out. The person who invented this program, stored program concept is John von Neumann. John von Neumann. Right. Then we'll move to another important point. Bit, the bit. Right. 1948. Actually, that's the short form of binary digit. Binary digit. This is the basic unit of measuring computer memory. Actually, bit is a 1 or 0. That's a space required to store 1 or 0. The first invented this bit is Claude Schumann. That's the person who invented the bit. Bit is the smallest unit that we are using to measure the computer memory. With the size of bit that we can get idea about that space required to store one character or one numerical digit. Right. It is a short form of binary digit. In 1948, that concept was introduced by the person called Claude Shannon. And then another important milestone here, look at the slide here, DEC created PDP-1. DEC was a major manufacturer, computing manufacturer in that time. They were introduced a computer called PDP-1. Actually, that was the first computer work with no air conditioning. No air conditioning. And also that was the first computer they are using to design the first computer game. Right? That today that's a very developed computer games and computers we can see now today's. This is the first occurrence that result to today's modern computers. Right? Remember here the points 1960 they are introduced this computer. DEC PDP-1, no air condition required to work, and also that was the computer used to play first computer game. However, it was not run this computer another further, only 2 years that was successfully run. After that, it was removed, that computer. Right, there are some pictures also you can see PDP-1 in left side and right side, 2 different pictures of the same computer. Right. This is the how PDP-1 was figured in that time. Right. Then another important milestone, IBM 1301. IBM 1301 in 1961. Right? This disk drive, this was a disk drive. It named as IBM's 1301. Their rotational speed. I think you know, you're familiar with the rotational, what is rotation or rotational speed, normally measured in rotational per minutes. It was able to rotate 1,800 rotation per minute. 1,800 rotation per minute, and also able to store 28 million characters. That this was also caused to develop today's we can see DVDs and CDs because of this IBM 1301 disk drive. We can use DVDs and CDs today. It contains a read-write arm and flight heads also. Here you can see a picture of this IBM disk drive. Then you can write down some important point here. Here says the first form of modern DVDs and CDs. Right. Then another important milestone happened in 1970. Actually, this is the first invented of the technology in artificial intelligence technology. Shaki was the first mobile robot developed by the Sri International Organization. Shaki was used programming language called Strip to doing their functions. Shaki used some equipment that here you can see motion sensors to capture the things around the Shaki, then TV cameras, bumper sensors, laser range. They are the things they use to capture the things around Shaki. This was invented in 1970. That's the result of artificial intelligence. This was the first mobile robot developed by Sri International. They are using a specific language called logical language called scripts. Today, there are some developed language like Lisp or Prolog they are using to do the artificial things. In that time, script is very popular. The Shaki also contain motion sensors, TV cameras, bump sensors to capture the things around him. Right. Okay. That are some important milestones here I am discussed. Remember these points. It will be important to the activities when we are going to do next. Make a බලමු අපි ආය පාරක් මේක පළවෙනි programming language එක Plancker කියලා හඳුන්වන්නේ 1945 වල තමයි invent කරේ Conrad Sess කියන පුද්ගලයා. ඒකේ ස්වභාවය language එකේ තියෙනවා මේ left side එකේ හොයාගත්ත පුද්ගලයා තමයි මේ දකුණු පැත්තෙන් ඉන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ අපි කතා කරා stored program concept කියන එක මේකම හඳුන්වනවා John von Neumann architecture කියලා. මොකද von Neumann කියන පුද්ගලයා තමයි මේක හොයාගත්තේ. ඒ පුද්ගලයාගේ රූපයක් මෙතන තියෙනවා. එතන මේකේ ප්‍රධාන දේ තමයි instruction සහ data කියන ඒවා එකම memory එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා මුලින්ම යෝජනා කරලා ඒක කරේ මේ John von Neumann කියන පුද්ගලයා. අදටත් computers වල තියෙන මේ concept එක instructions and data එකම memory එකේ ඉඳලා තමයි programs run වෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මේ bit කියන එක හොයාගෙන ඉනවා 1948 වල binary digit කියන එක තමයි bit කියලා කැටි කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මේක තමයි smallest unit එක computer memory එක measure කරන්න තියෙන smallest unit එක bit එකයි කියලා කියන්නේ බොහෝ වෙලාවට අපි කියනවා එක character එකක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් එක digit එකක් store කරන්න අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණය තමයි bit කියලා කියන්නේ. bit එකයි කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒක හොයාගත්ත පුද්ගලයා විදියට හඳුන්වන්නේ Claude Shannon කියන මේ පුද්ගලයා. ඊපස්සේ මේ DEC කියන කම්පියුටරේ සමාගම විසින් නිෂ්පාදිත PDP-1 කියන උපකරණය පරිගණකයේ අපිට එනවා. ඒකේ විශේෂත්වය තමයි air conditioning environment එකක් නැතුව ඔපරේට් කරන්න පුළුවන් පළවෙනි කම්පියුටර් එක විදියට හඳුන්වනවා. ඒ වගේම first computer game එක play කරන්න හදපු භාවිතා කරපු පරිගණකය තමයි මේ PDP-1 කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒක අදටත් වර්තමානයේ තියෙන desktop computer games වලට මූලාරම්භය වෙන්නේ මේ PDP-1 කියන පරිගණකය. මේකේ පේනවා ඇති මම පින්තූර දෙකක් views දෙකකින් දක්වලා තිනවා. මේ PDP-1 කියන කම්පියුටරේ රූප දෙකක් තමයි පේන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ IBM 13.1 කියන disk drive එක 1961 හොයන් තියෙනවා. ඒකත් වැදගත් වෙනවා. ඒකේ rotational speed එක 1800ක් විදියට සඳහන් වෙන්නේ. characters 28000ක් ඒකේ store කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකේ read write header එකක් තියෙනවා characters read කරන්න. flying header එකක් තියෙනවා. වර්තමානයේ අපි පාවිච්චි කරන DVD CDs වලට මූලාරම්භය වෙන්නේ මේ IBM 13.01 කියන disk drive එක. ඒකේ රූප සටහනක් තමයි පහළ පෙන්눔 කරන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මෙන්න මේ තාක්ෂණය Shaki කියන මේක රොබෝ එකක් artificial intelligence කියන තාක්ෂණය භාවිතයෙන් හදපු පළවෙනි රොබෝට් එක තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. ශ්‍රී ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් කියන සමාගම විසින් මේක හදලා තියෙනවා. මේකේ භාවිතා කරලා තියෙන ලැන්ග්වේජ් එක තමයි ස්ට්‍රයිප්ස් කියන ලැන්ග්වේජ් එක. එතකොට මේ රොබෝට් එක දත්ත එක්ස්ප්‍රෙස් කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේ කියන ඒවා භාවිතා කරනවා. මේ තියෙන motion sensors, TV camera, bump sensors, laser range ඔය වගේ උපකරණ ඔස්සේ data ඒක වටේ තියෙන data capture කරගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. හොඳයි. ඔය කියන අවස්ථා ටික හොඳින් මතක තියාගන්න. මම පෙන්නන්නම් video එකක්. I am going to show a video of Shaki, how Shaki works, right? Look at the video here.
Shaki was the world's first mobile intelligent robot, embodying numerous breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, robotics, computer vision, navigation, and other research areas. The robot was developed from 1966 to 1972 by SRI International, then called Stanford Research Institute, and its legacy and impact are still very much alive today.
Shaki is really the great-grandfather of things like self-driving cars and even military drones. The hardware was really pretty primitive, but the software architecture and the software algorithms are what changed the world.
I think we all thought we were doing really interesting stuff, so it didn't really dawn on us that we were doing anything special.
Shaki established a position about what we should be thinking about as possible, as feasible.
To understand why Shaki is so important, we have to go back to 1966, and we have to understand where AI research was at that time.
Well, you have to remember that it was pretty much of a greenfield when Shaki started. All over the country and even outside of the United States, people were beginning to build the components to artificial intelligence. Nobody had tried at the time that Shaki was launched to integrate all the components of AI and robotics into a single moving vehicle that could reason about the world, could sense the world around it, and could take actions.
Prior to 1966, there were no robots, or at least not intelligent ones. The concept of an intelligent robot was limited to the realm of fiction.
You will meet a charming character in The Robot, always at your service.
When you read the title of the original proposal, it was something like a mobile automaton for reconnaissance. And the reason we called it an automaton was because until Shaki, you couldn't go to a funding agency and say, I want money to make a science fiction kind of device. So we needed a name. And finally, Charlie, in his inimitable fashion, said, it shakes like hell when it moves. Let's just call it Shaki.
Key components of Shaki's hardware were a TV camera to observe its environment, an antenna radio link, bump detectors, and a push bar to move objects.
My role was mainly get the images and get whatever coordinates they needed to determine where they were and extract the information from the image. I remember when I first saw it, gee, that looks like a dishwasher on wheels.
While charming, Shaki wasn't impressive for its looks. It was the AI and programming advancements that made it famous.
We structured Shaki software in 4 distinct layers. And that was the first time that a layered architecture was used for robots.
Shaki's pioneering software architecture paved the way to a new era of AI and robotics. The SRI team later developed Flaky, a research robot that demonstrated fuzzy logic and goal-oriented behavior. Then came Centibots, one of the earliest projects in swarm robotics, where 100 autonomous robots demonstrated the ability to map a complex area collaboratively.
I like how it's code that isn't just turning numbers into other numbers. You get to see the thing come to life right next to you.
Shaky also inspired research in natural language-based interactions, leading to the popular speech-based technologies that we use today. Shaky's breakthrough in computer vision is now used to help drivers stay in their lanes. And every time you get driving directions on your phone or a navigation system, you are benefiting from the A-star navigation algorithm, first invented for Shaky. Even NASA's Mars exploration rovers use navigational techniques that were first launched with Shaky.
The future is things like potentially having teams of autonomous aircraft that could go out, for example, and do firefighting, and doing this either fully autonomously or potentially in tandem with human piloted aircraft that can go out and work with them collaboratively.
Shaky now resides in the Computer History Museum, visible to hundreds of thousands of visitors annually. And in 2017, Shaky was honored with an IEEE Milestone Achievement Award.
The Shaky milestone is important because, first of all, Shaky is the world's first mobile intelligent robot. In addition, this is the first IEEE milestone in the areas of either robotics or artificial intelligence.
Looking back, more than 50 years after the Shaky project began, it's inspiring to see how one small team can make such an impact. How one ambitious idea continues to benefit our lives. How one robot changed the world.
We didn't realize, I think, any of us, what the significance of this was. We knew we were the first, but nobody knew where it was going, and I don't think any of us would have predicted what happened.
Shaky planted the flag way out there. It's a model of the kind of ambitious projects that we should be looking at in the future.
I think you watch the video here, then you got the idea about how the time these robots are working. Okay, then we move to the next part. Here I am going to do one activity with you. This activity is based on the milestone we learned earlier. Then I am going to start it. Here you have 12 questions in 6 minutes time you want to complete it. Right, once I am start activity, then you can do it, right? Then you can start it now. 30 seconds more. Right, okay, time is over now. Most of you are giving the answers, but some of you are not giving answers for all questions. Right, however, most of you are in very good, 12 out of 12, Himansa. Then another one, Randika, also 12 out of 12. Right, then others, okay. Then we'll see some questions. Most of you are trouble with the question number 3, I think. Question number 3, according to the Newman architecture. Right here, it is clear that point. One Newman said same memory they are using. It need to use same memory to store data and instructions. Question number 3 එකනේ ගොඩක් අය වරද්දලා තියෙන්නේ. Question number 3 එකෙන් අහන්නේ one Newman architecture එකට අනුව මොකක්ද කියලා හරි statement එක one Newman architecture එකේ කියවෙන්නේ මොකක්ද? එකම memory එකේ data සහ උපදෙස් instructions store කරන්න ඕනේ කියන එක මුලින්ම යෝජනා කරේ එක පරීක්ෂාවට ලක් කරේ ජොන් one Newman කියන පුද්ගලයා. ආයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ වරද්දලා තියෙන question එක තමයි question number 6. අපි බලමු මොකක්ද කියලා. Which machine that no need air conditioning? Which one? PDP-1. PDP-1 is the machine. No need to air conditioning to work on that machine, right? Questions question number 9 කියන එක. 9ත් වරද්දලා තියෙනවා. Which disk drive having 1800 rotational time, IBM 1301. ඔක්කොම direct questions තියෙන්නේ අර මතකය නැතිකම තමයි වර්ධිච්ච වරද්දකට තියෙන්නේ. හරි ඒකට මම පොඩි time එකක් දෙන්නම් slide by slide short note එකක් ගහගන්න. හැම slide එකකටම මම අමතර මිනිත්තුවක් දෙන්නම්. එතකොට short note එකක් ගහගන්න. full note එක පස්සේ මම slide එක දැම්මහම slide එක බලාගෙන වෙනම පොතක maintain කරන්න full note එකක් අපි කරගෙන යද්දි short note එකක් ගහගන්න ඒ slides වලට අදාළව. හොඳයි මේකේ ගැටලු තියෙනවද මොනවා හරි අහන්න පුළුවන්. If you have any questions, then you can discuss with me regarding the things discussed up to now. At least tell me, is it clear? Or any feedback? I need your feedback to continue the lesson. තේරුණාද අඩුම ගානේ මේ කියන ඒවා තේරුණාද නැද්ද කියන එකවත් කියන්න.
Yes sir.
Right.
Yes sir.
හොඳයි. හොඳයි එහෙනම් අපි යමු ඊළඟ activity එකට.
Yes sir.
ඔව්. මෙතනෙන් කියවෙන්නේ තව මොකද්ද?
නෑ සර් අර එඩ්මෝඩ් එකට ජොයින් වෙන්න සර් රික්වෙස්ට් එක දීලා තියෙන තාම ඇප්‍රූව් කරලා නැහැ වගේ සර්.
කවද්ද ඔයා ඊයේ වගේ දුන්නේ?
නෑ සර් අද සර්.
අදනේ හරි. හරි අද ඒක මම තාම බැලුවේ නෑ අද ඒව ටයිම් තිබ්බේ නෑ බලන්න. මම ඒක බලලා ඔයාට දැන් තව චුට්ටකින් ඇප්‍රූව් කරන්න හරි. මේ notes ඔක්කොම අපි මේ කතා කරන slides වීඩියෝ clips බලන ඒවා ඔක්කොම එඩ්මෝඩෝ එකට දාලා තියෙන්නේ. ගිය සතියේවත් ඒකේ තියෙනවා දාලා recorded lecture එකක් තියෙනවා ඒකේ. ගිය සතියේ. හරි. ඒවා බලන්න ගිය සතියේ කාට හරි ආවේ නැත්නම් හරි ආපු අයට හරි කමන්න ඒක වැදගත් වෙනවා. නැවත මතක් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ රෙකෝඩ් බලන්න තාම නම් කවුරුත් බලලා තිබ්බේ නෑ ඒ ගිය සතියේ දාපු එක. අද එකක් දානවා. ඒවා එකවර හරි කමන්නේ ඒවා බලන්න. හොඳයි මෙතන තවත් මයිල්ස්ටෝන්ස් කීපයක් තියෙන්නේ. මෙතන මේ පෙන්වන්නේ පළවෙනි මයික්‍රෝ ප්‍රොසෙසර් එක. මේක පළවෙනි මයික්‍රෝ ප්‍රොසෙසර් එකම නෙමෙයි. නමුත් පොපියුලර් වෙච්ච කොමර්ෂියලි පොපියුලර් වෙච්ච පළවෙනි මේ මයික්‍රෝ ප්‍රොසෙසර් එක තමයි මේ 4004 කියලා කියන්නේ. 1971 වල මෙන්න මේ පුද්ගලයන්ගේ නම් ෆෙඩරිකෝ ෆැගින් and ටෙඩ් හොෆ් කියන ඉන්ටෙල් සමාගම තමයි එවකට තිබ්බ මේ මයික්‍රෝ ප්‍රොසෙසර්ස් නිෂ්පාදනයේ නියැලෙන සමාගම. ඒ ඉන්ටෙල් සමාගමේ වැඩ කරපු දෙන්නෙක් තමයි මේ ප්‍රොසෙසර් එක හොයාගෙන තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒක it consisted 2300 transistors කියනවා අපි දන්නවා 2300ක් භාවිතා කරලා තමයි මේක හදලා තියෙන්නේ. Total number of instructions were 46. Clock speed 1 megahertz while only 740 kilohertz were achieved. 1 megahertz වලට design කරාට actually ඒක perform කරලා තියෙන්නේ 740යි kilohertz 740යි. මේ යට තියෙන්නේ ඔය process එක දාලා භාවිතා කරපු machine එකක්. 1971 භාවිතා කරලා තියෙන්නේ විසිකොම් කියන සමාගම මේක නම් කරලා තියෙනවා 141 PF කියලා. මේකේ ඉලෙක්ට්‍රොනික ටයිප්‍රයිටර් එක ස්වභාවය තමයි පෙන්눔 කරන්නේ. මේකට attach කරපු printer එකක් මේකේ තියෙනවා. එතකොට input process වුණායින් පස්සේ output එක මේ print එක හරහා ලැබෙනවා. 1971 මතක තියාගන්න මම මිනිත්තුවක් දෙන්නම් important points short කරගන්න පුළුවන්. හරි මම හිතන්නේ කාලය ඇති to take down the short notes. Then see another important milestone. I think all of you are familiar with this device. Floppy disk. 1976 they first invented this floppy disk. Floppy disk කියන එක මේක හැමෝම familiar ඇති දැකලා ඇති. මුලින්ම 1970 තමයි floppy disk එකක් හඳුන්වලා දෙන්නේ. මේක sizes දෙකකින් තියෙනවා. 5.25 inches and 3.5. The other one is 3.5. One this you can see one of the picture in the middle. That one is the 3.5 one. The left corner, this picture, 5.25. The right corner, then you can have, you can see another picture. This is called disk drive, floppy disk drive. Make a floppy disk drive. මෑතක් වෙනකම් මේක භාවිතයේ තිබ්බා. ඩෙස්ක්ටොප් කම්පියුටර්ස් වල මේ disk drive එක මෑතක් වෙනකම් භාවිතා කරා. මේ වගේ capacity එහෙම බැලුවොත් 1.44 megabytes තමයි මේ disk වල තියෙන්නේ. වර්තමානයේ භාවිතයේ නැහැ. කොහොමවත් 1980 ගණන් වල 80 මුල භාගයේ වෙනකොට operating system එක run වෙන්නේ ඔය floppy disk එකේ. floppy disk එක දාලා තමයි computer on කරන්නේ. ඒවකට තිබ්බ DOS කියන operating system එක. DOS කියන එක තාමත් computers වල තියෙනවා. ඉතා වැදගත් operating system එකක්. මේක මුලින්ම ජනප්‍රිය වෙන්නේ 1980 ගණන් වල මුල කාලේ. DOS operating system එක ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ওই disk එකකින් තමයි එන්නේ. ඔය වගේ floppy disk එකක්. ඒක ඇතුළු කරලා කම්පියුටරේ on කරන්න ඕනේ. ඊට ඒකේ on කරාන් පස්සේ තියෙනවා command prompt එකක්. ඒ prompt එක ඉස්සරහා instructions හැම වෙලේම අපි type කරන්න ඕනේ. type කරලා තමයි කම්පියුටරත් එක්ක වැඩ කරන්නේ. හොඳයි. එතන ඕකේ මතක තියාගන්න sizes මතක තියාගන්න 5 inches කියන එකයි 3.5 කියන එකයි 1978 වල invented කරා කියන එක මතකයේ තියෙන්නත් ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ එනවා 1981 IBM personal computer. This one is the first commercially popular computer, commercially success computer developed by IBM in 1981. It is a very look like today's personal computer, right? In that time they cost about $1,565, right? Then you can convert into rupees and think about the cost in that time. It has a ROM capacity of 40 kilobytes, 40K of ROM and 16K of user memory. Here user memory means RAM capacity, 16K. Then another feature in this computer, speaker and the ability to run self-diagnostic check available with this computer. And the operating system they are using MS-DOS version 1. Right, that earlier I mentioned something about the MS-DOS. Here MS means Microsoft, DOS stand for disk operating system. The first version of DOS operating system used by this IBM computer. It was a 16-bit operating system. Right, these are the main points you want to remember regarding this IBM personal computer. Right, okay, now you can write down some short notes regarding this. I will give 1 minute to complete it. Next, we'll move to another milestone. In 1984, Apple's Macintosh computers. Right? The Apple is another comparative company engaged with designing computers, but their technology is somewhat different. The operating system they are using is not accepted for the Intel computers. Only these computers operating systems accept work with the Apple computers or Apple phones. Right. In 1984, they are first introduced this successful machine. It's like a personal computer. This was the first machine introduced built-in screen and mouse. Right. This mouse technology. This is the first machine introduced mouse technology, and also this was the first machine introduced the GUI interface. GUI stand for graphical user interface. You can work with graphics, small icons you can see through the monitor. Then you can click on these icons through the mouse. Right? This mouse and GUI technology, GUI together, the first machine was Apple Macintosh in 1984. They are giving the name for this operating system Mac OS in that time. Right. Normally, it contains some built-in software also. Word processing, to do the word processing, they are using MacWriter. MacWrite and some graphic editors like MacPaint available with this Macintosh computers. Right. Macintosh computer එක තමයි 1984 graphical user interface එකක් එක්ක හඳුන්වලා දීපු පළවෙනි computer. ඒකම මේකේ ගොඩක් දේවල් තියෙනවා. පළවෙනි කියලා අපිට අද වර්තමානයේ use වෙන වගේ පළවෙනි දේ එන්නේ මෙතනින්. mouse එක භාවිතය, graphical user interface කියන එක භාවිතය, අපි දන්නවා GUI graphical user interface කියන එක, graphics තියෙනවා, ඒකේ icons තියෙනවා, ඒ ඔස්සේ user ට පුළුවන් computer එකත් එක්ක communicate කරන්න. ඒක mouse එක භාවිතා කරලා තමයි icons වලට click කිරීම, double click කිරීම, ඒ වගේ දේවල් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. ඒවා මුලින්ම අපිට දක්නට ලැබෙන මේ Apple computers එක්ක. එතකොට මේ මැෂින් එකේ ඔපරේටින් සිස්ටම් එකත් එක්කම එන software විදිහට තියෙනවා MacWriter කියන එක භාවිතා කරා word processing වලට, graphics වැඩවලට MacPaint කියන එක භාවිතා කරා. ඒ වගේ වදටත් මේ graphics පැත්තට තමයි ගොඩක් මේ computers භාවිතා කරන්නේ. Right. Okay, important points to complete කරගන්න ලියලා මම 1 minutes දෙන්නම්. Right, I think you finished completing the short notes. Then we'll move to the next milestone. Actually, next one is the Windows base. After introducing the Apple computers, Apple graphical user interface, then introduced this Windows in 1985. Right? Windows computers, we know today this one is the most popular type of operating system in Sri Lanka here. That's also graphical user interface. Graphical user interface containing icons and menus and icons and menus. Through these icons and menus, you can communicate with the computer. Right? They able to use mouse with the Windows operating systems. Right? The Windows arrived. This system introduced 2 years after Apple launch. Right here in the table, you can see some of the versions from the beginning. First version of Windows is Windows 1.0. That's the first version, released in 1985. Then there are some other versions here also available. In 1987, Windows 2.0, 1990 in 3.0, then 1995, Windows 95. Those are some popular Windows version available at that time. Windows 95 is one of the most popular operating system in 1990s. The other one is Windows 98 also, very popular in that time. After that, Windows 2000, Millennium, 2003 to XP, then 2007. In that way, they are introduced many versions under Windows operating systems. Like Windows operating system එක අපිට 1985 තමයි හම්බ වෙන්නේ. මේක Windows යටතේ එන පළවෙනි graphical user interface එක. කොහොමුණත් Apple සමාගම user interface GUI introduce කරායින් පස්සේ තමයි Windows සමාගම කියන්නේ Microsoft සමාගම GUI introduce කරන්නේ. එක mouse එක භාවිතය පුළුවන් icons තියෙනවා menus තියෙනවා communicate කරන්න. මේකේ version කීපයක් දක්වලා තියෙනවා. පළවෙනි version එක 1.0 ඒ විදිහට 2 3 95 කියන එක 1990s වල ගොඩක් ජනප්‍රිය වෙච්ච එකක්. 98 කියන එකත් ගොඩක් ඒ වගේම ජනප්‍රිය වෙච්ච එකක් 90 දශකයේ. ඊට පස්සේ ගොඩක් version එනවා Windows වල 2000 2003 Windows XP ඒ විදිහට වර්තමාන වෙනකොට Windows 10 වගේ version භාවිතයේ තියෙනවා. right complete කරගන්න short note එකක් මේකේ 1 minutes මම දෙන්නම් time එක. madam. right එතකොට ඔය 1985 වල Windows ගැන කතා කරේ. ඊට පස්සේ milestone එකක් විදිහට අපිට සඳහන් කරන්න පුළුවන් අන්තර්ජාලය හා සම්බන්ධව World Wide Web කියන එක. සොයා ගැනීම 1990 අවුරුද්ද සිද්ධ වෙනවා. In 1990 introduced World Wide Web. The person who Tim Berners-Lee, he was the very famous regarding inventing of these languages, HTML, this language especially. Also use of HTTP protocol and introduction of URL. All of these things happened with this because of this person, Tim Berners-Lee. Right? Right, okay. 1990 මේ World Wide Web කියන එක introduce වෙනවා. Tim Berners-Lee කියන පුද්ගලයා තමයි මේකට මැදිහත් වෙන්නේ. එයා HTML කියන language එක සහ HTTP protocol URL වගේවා සොයා ගැනීමත් සමග අන්තර්ජාලය කියන එක බෙහෙවින්ම ජනප්‍රිය වෙනවා. ඒතර මේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් බ්‍රවුසර්ස් භාවිතා කිරීම සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ ඒ එක්කම තමයි. ඒව හරහා තමයි අන්තර්ජාලය හරහා විකාශනය කරන සියලුම දත්ත අපේ පරිගණකයට එන්නේ මේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් බ්‍රවුසර්ස් හරහා. Right. මේකත් complete කරගන්න important points here. Note down. Right, I think you finish note down the important points here. Therefore, I'm moving to the next slide. Next one is again activity. Fill in blanks. All the statements and blanks words are given there. The thing is you want to drag and drop for the relevant place. Right, in this activity, no any time limit. However, send it as soon as possible. These answers, right? Okay, here I'm going to start it. Blank fill in. I think now you can start it. Right, start it. Please submit as soon as possible. right now minute තුවක් දෙන්නම් complete කරන්න 1 minute I am giving 1 minute to complete it, right? So keep it in I think 3 or 4 5 6 7 8 yeah 8 or 9 students. right මට මිනිත්තු 5ක් දෙන්න පොඩි වැඩක් තියෙනවා මම එනවා මිනිත්තු 5ක් ඉන්න ඔහොමම හරි 5 minutes break, right? Right, okay, I can continue from now. Then I'm going to when regarding this activity, I think most of you did very well. Most of you get 19 out of 19. Right, I think you can see this answers result sheet. Most of you are getting 19 out of 19. Right, however, see view the answers here. First one, Intel 4004 was designed by Federico Fagin and Ted Hoffin in 1971. Then second answer consisted of 2,300 transistors. Then it was designed to 1 megahertz, but actually it performs 740 kilohertz. Then third one, it was first microprocessor and it was used in BCCOM 141PF calculator. Fourth one, floppy disk was first developed in 1976 and designed in 5 and quarter 5.25 and 3.5. This 5.25 is the answer. IBM personal computer is having with 40K ROM and 60K user memory. In 1984, Apple introduced its most successful product. Then computer that came with built-in screen and mouse. That's also correct, screen and mouse. The machine featured GUI an operating system known as System 1, the earlier version of Mac. Actually, this one is not in the discussion. Earlier version of Mac operating system that developed by Apple Incorporation. That's the first version of Apple Incorporation called System 1. Then Apple computers also having Mac writers to word processor and Mac Paint to graphics editors. Then Tim Berners-Lee is the first person who invented HTML and URL also popular because of this Tim Berners-Lee invention. Right, that's about the answers of this activity. Then we'll move to the next part. Here, computers and community. Computers and community. The development of technology is vastly affect with the community, especially introduction of the internet, introduction of the network. After that, internet. Those of the technologies are vastly affect with the community. Community means society. There are relationship and the other types of relationship mean there are various types of relationships. It may be customer-client relationship or family relationship. All of these are rapidly changed because of this technology. Right here, look at the slide here, computer and community. It says this relationship types. Then there are some technologies used for develop this relationship, telecommuting, teleconferencing, telebanking. Telebanking especially use their banks to make relationship between their customers and managers. Then teleshopping, telemedicine, teleeducation. Actually, we are running the effect of result of teleeducation. In today, we should be able to doing this type of online classes because of this development of teleeducation. Then email, e-voicemail, SMS, all of these are caused to widely, very vastly caused to development of relationship. Sometimes some organizations are blamed to internet because their membership is reduced. Some clubs that before inventing the internet and the social media, most of people are practice to go in clubs and organize a similar type of organizations. Because of these inventions, technology development, members of these clubs are become to reduce. Therefore, they blame to computers and the internet. Right. Then, okay, you can write down some important points here. Then I will give 1 minute to complete it. හරි එතකොට අපි computers සහ community එක ගැන තමයි මේ session එකෙන් කතා කරන්නේ. තාක්ෂණයේ දියුණු වීම technology development කියන එක විශේෂයෙන් network සහ internet social media වගේ දේවල් හරහා මේ relationship කියන එක community එක තුල ඉතා වේගයෙන් වර්ධනය වෙමින් පවතිනවා. මේ වගේ තාක්ෂණයන් telecommuting, teleconferencing, telebanking, teleshopping මේ වගේ දේවල් හරහා තමයි මේ relationship එක වැඩි දියුණු වෙන්නේ. right ඊළඟට community එක ගැන කතා කරනකොට මෙන්න මේ වගේ දේවල් කීපයකුත් වැදගත් වෙනවා. Internet provide communities focused on specialized interests or problems. The internet brings people together from all over the world. හැමතැනම විසිරලා ඉන්න ඒ පුද්ගල සමූහයන් එකට එක්කව කරලා ඒගොල්ලෝ අතර සම්බන්ධතාවය ගොඩනගන්නේ මේ අන්තර්ජාලය හරහා. Email and internet provide convenient and cheap ways for families and friends to stay contact. So මේක හරහා සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ family relationship කියන ඒවා නේ. සමහර වෙලාවට ඒ relationship කියන එක ළඟ පිහිටන්නේ තමන්ගේ relations ලා වෙන රටවල් වල ඉන්න පුළුවන්. මේ අන්තර්ජාලය වගේ දේවල් එන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා අපි දන්නවා කොච්චරක් අපිට වියදම් කරන්න ඕනේද කොයිතරම් අමාරුද කියන එක වෙනත් රටවලට කෝල් එකක් දෙන්න නේ. ඒතර වර්තමානයේ වෙනකොට අන්තර්ජාල ඉන්ටර්නෙට් කොස්ට් එක පමණක් භාවිතාවෙන් වැය කරමින් තමන්ට පුළුවන් තමන්ගේ නෑදෑයින් එක්ක ඇති වෙනකන් කතා කරන්න ඒ සම්බන්ධතා පවත්වාගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්කම ලැබිලා තියෙනවා. සෝෂල් නෙට්වර්ක් කියන එක විශේෂ උදාහරණයක්. ඒ හරහා විවිධ ආකාරවල ඒ රිලේෂන්ෂිප් වැඩිවීම සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේ බෑඩ් ඉෆෙක්ට්ස් එමත් තියෙනවා. නමුත් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපි මේකේ තියෙන හොඳ පැත්ත විතරක් අරගෙන ඒ ඔස්සේ සහාය දක්වමින් ඉදිරියට ගමන් කිරීම තමයි සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. හරි. ඔය ටික සටහනක් දාගන්න important points, write down the important points here. Right, okay, I think you finish getting some notes regarding this one. Next, I am going to show another video. In this video, explain the bad and good defects of technology. Right? Then you want to identify these bad defects, at least 2 bad defects and 3 good defects. Try to identify by looking at the video here, at least 3 good defects and 2 bad defects. Then I will after this video I am going to do one activity. Then you want to remember it, then I am do an activity. Through this activity I am getting your identifications. Right, okay, now I am going to run this video here.
Hey guys, today we are going to talk about technology, so let's start. But first, let's define technology.
Technology refers to the practical application of scientific knowledge for a purpose. Technology enhances the usefulness of goods and services in a safe manner. It aims at creating value. Technology helps us make work easier. It can help us in many ways possible. But, like most things, technology also has its drawbacks. In fact, some of the more recent inventions are now being categorized as lazy aids and are considered major contributors of obesity and a generally unhealthy population.
Now let's proceed to technology's advantages and disadvantages. Advantages. comfort. Technology has made human life comfortable. Everything that we see and use in our daily life is the gift of technology, from the clothes we wear, the house we live, the car we travel, the bridge and flyovers, the mobile phone we carry, etc. are all examples of successful implementation of technology. Education. Virtual classes are delivered at many schools. E-learning is a relatively new concept. Students make use of internet technology to download important study materials in the form of text, audio, and videos. Now let's get into the disadvantages. Pollution. Too much use of technology has resulted in an increase in waste products into the environment. This has caused pollution. The discharge of industrial waste into the environment diminishes the quality of soil, water, air, etc. Example, the vehicle emission is among major causes of air pollution. Effect on health. Thought various technologies have made our life comfortable. They have come at a cost. Our health. The impure air and water is hazardous to human health. Excessive use of smartphones causes stress and posture-related health issues.
Technology has beyond doubt eased the life of human beings. It has proved to be a great boon in the development process of culture and society. However, too much of anything is bad. Technology should be used with due care and caution only for the purpose that are of benefit for humanity. Now that ends our video. Hope you understood the topic and enjoyed watching it. Goodbye. Group members: Jaya Mary B. Gitt, Sherry Maybear Mundu, Angeline Cadalsor, Janeth Honk Kolada, Cal Michael Dagoog.
Right here, I think all of you got the video. By looking at this video that I already mentioned you to identify some advantages and disadvantages. Then try to do this activity here. Now I am going to give you this activity. Right. I think now you can open in your screens this activity. In bottom part, there is a bar. Then in that bar, you can write down your own ideas. Right here, the question is write down 3 positive effects and 2 negative effects on technology to the society. Right. Then try to write down these 3 positive effects and 2 bad effects. Right. One students already give the answer. Then write down the answers here. What are the positive effects? Right. Then you want to write down it here. Right. Try to do it